Hi, everyone. My name is Erica Virgo. I work for BrightStar Credit Union, and I'm over the See You at School program, which teaches you guys about financial literacy. So thanks for joining me here today. I know things are kind of crazy in this virtual world, but I've got a good presentation for you guys on something that's so important for your futures, and that's money. So this presentation is all about money, your finances, and hopefully by the end of it, you've got some new information where you feel more informed about something that's going to be with you for the rest of your lives. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first point to think about when you're thinking about your finances is realizing where you are. You're either employed and you have a job, and if you do, the first thing you need to think about is how much you earn every month. And if you don't have a job, you should be thinking of ways that you can earn cash, helping around the house, doing errands. Maybe there's a hobby or something that you love doing that you could start getting paid for. So don't be afraid to get creative, but know where your starting point is so that you can move forward with a plan. So some quick information for you guys about money. 87% of teens say they know little to nothing about money management. So, I mean, that says a lot. And, they just started making it kind of more of something important for school. But, as you can see, the majority of students are a little bit lost on it. 78% of teens are worried about getting in over their heads with student loan debt. And 77% of teen boys, 63% of teen girls between 16 and 18 are not keeping track of where their money goes on a regular basis. So you're spending, but you're not tracking anything. And that's how money goes quickly. So when you think about what money management really is, it's how you handle all aspects of your finances. And what this looks like is that you're saving and spending successfully. So you're using your savings account to save money. You're not pulling from it all the time. And you're using your checking account for everyday transactions. You're also tracking your finances in some way, whether this be with a budget or an app, or maybe you're old school, you write it down, but you know what money's coming in and what money's coming out. And you have savings goals. So you know that there's something that you want for the future, whether that just be I want to have $1,000 in my savings account, or I want to save enough to buy this or to pay off this. So you want to have some type of savings goal in mind. And when you combine all three of these, then you have money management, where you are successfully handling your finances. So quickly, I'm just going to go over what a savings account is and what a checking account is, and we'll go from there. So as you know, savings account is intended for you to save money. This is the account where you make deposits with the intention of keeping the money there. You're not intending to pull from it. With savings accounts, you have higher interest rates. So when you leave money in there, it does grow by itself over time. And savings accounts have withdrawal restrictions, which means that if you put the money in there, there's only a certain amount that you can take out, or a certain amount of times you can pull money from there before you have a fee or a charge. Because the whole point of the savings account is to not pull from it and to watch it grow. When it comes to checking accounts, this is the account where you do your everyday spending. So this is where you buy a coffee, you get groceries, you do something, you pay for gas, go to the movies. That's the card and the account that you use for that. The money from this account is linked to your debit card, so that's your card, not a credit card. A debit card is linked to your checking account, and that's your money. And that's every time you swipe, it comes directly out. And checking accounts usually, almost always have no withdrawal restrictions. So you can just swipe, because that's the intent of them, is to just spend your money. And the main card is the debit card that you would use at the ATM. So that's usually the card you'll put in. You want to take 20 bucks out. You want to, see what your balance is. You can do that stuff at the ATM, usually with your debit card. So real fast, I'm just going to go over a few other types of accounts just for your knowledge. So as far as savings, we've got certificates of deposits, money market accounts, there's stocks and bonds, IRAs, 401ks, and other retirement accounts. That's a little bit too far into the future, but it's good for you to know what they are and kind of, the names. And for checking, they have premier checking or interest-bearing checking accounts, which is if you keep a certain amount in there, the checking account will also grow over time, just like your savings does. So a few tips on how to best manage your money. Know your wants versus your needs. So important, because there's so many things that we want. And if we really just sit ourselves down and say, okay, but do I need this right now? Can this wait another check? Or, can I put, instead of paying a whole $100 for that thing right now, can I put aside 50 on this check, 50 on the next, and then I can buy it and it's not so much of a burden. So just kind of understanding what's something that you need at this moment and what's something that maybe can wait if you think it through. Also, space out your personal purchases. Just like I said, if there's something you want, a hoodie or a jacket or an outfit that is going to cost $100, instead of just taking that whole $100 from that one time you get paid, budget it out, plan it out, so that way you still have some more money to maybe put into your savings or do other little things you might want to do. Create a budget and stick to it. Super important, because a budget helps you just stay on top of your finances. And if you stick to your budget, you'll realize that it's so much easier to handle your money. And you won't be wondering how you had money in your account and, a weekend later it's gone. Savings matters. A little adds up over time. So true. Even if you save $10 a check, that's going to add up as time goes on. And before you know it, that will have grown to a good amount. So it's always important to save something no matter what, if you can. So budgeting advice. Have budget categories. So pretty much when you come up with a budget, you're putting down your expenses. What are things that you have to pay for every time you get paid? Maybe that's gas. Maybe that's, you're going to go to the movies twice or whatever. Like the things that that you're going to be doing, you want to have categories for them so that you can have the amount associated with it. And you want to have a time frame. So let's say my budget will be written out for every time I get paid, because that's how much money I'll have, or maybe every month. But it kind of works, I feel personally, it works better if you do it every time you get paid, because around the amount you're going to get paid, and you can go from there off of your budget. So many people start budgeting using what's called the 50-30-20 plan. And this is just a basic plan, like just to get you started with the idea of budgeting. And of course, you can tweak it as you go on. But what that plan means is you're using your paycheck, 50% of it is for essentials, things you have to do and have to buy. 20% you're putting into your savings account no matter what. And then 30% of your check you're using for fun or personal things, your nails, whatever. But that's a good basis to start with as far as budgeting. And then going off of that, you can make adjustments and see, oh, you know what? I really don't have so many essentials. I'm at home. I don't have to pay for rent or things like that. So you can maybe take some of that off and put it into your savings, vice versa. But you can play around with that idea, and that's a great place to start. So an example of that is if you get $200 a check, $100 goes into your savings, 40 into your, sorry, I said that wrong. $100 goes into your essentials, $40 would go into your savings, and then $60 would be for personal or for fun. So just an idea of what you can do. So just a few apps to keep you on track. We're always on our phones, especially, around our age. So these few slides are going to give you some ideas of apps that are really helpful, and you can actually use them to budget if you don't want to get on the computer or write it down. So you have Mint. Now Mint syncs with your bank account, so you would have to put in your information. It kind of gives you a guide on budget creation and advice. It's got credit score tracking, which you don't get credit until you're 18, but it would be good to have for the future. And money alerts, so like when you're about to hit over a certain amount, it will also let you know, like, hey, you're getting close on your entertainment budget, things like that. There's YNAB, which is You Need a Budget. They also do budget creation for you. They have goal setting, so you can put in there, I want to save $100 for this. It'll kind of have a little bar up to your goal. It also can sync with your bank account, but I don't think you have to link it to your account. And it has reporting on how you can improve your budget each month. So that's also a great tool to take advantage of. Money Strands is another great app, and you don't have to link your bank account if you don't want to. And Money Strands has a lot of things here. It's got analysis, so they'll, tell you what you might need to work on. Community, which you can utilize if you want. Calendar, where you can put in, I'm getting paid here, I'm getting paid here, I'm gonna get a little extra money here, and that way you can plan ahead. It's got budgets, of course, saving goals, and okay to spend, which is letting you know, okay, if you're looking at, some shoes or whatever, you can spend up to this much and be cool in your budget or be set in your budget. So another good app to maybe take advantage of and see if, it would work for you. So quickly, I'm going to talk about credit because you need to know how it works and what it is. So in short, there are two types of credit. There's secured credit, which is a little bit less popular nowadays, but secured credit is funded by you. So for example, you would get a credit card that would have, let's say you have $500 in your savings account. You would have a credit card up to $500 backed by your savings account, where you cannot spend more than what you already have in your savings account. So that's kind of a very basic way to get started with credit. And then there's unsecured, which is the more popular credit card, and it's the card where it's not backed up by anything. It's a lender giving you a certain amount of money and saying, okay, this is your credit limit, go ahead. So that's the difference between those two. The definition of credit: the ability of a customer to obtain goods or services before payment based on the trust that payment will be made in the future. Very important to read that twice. Based on the trust that the payment will be made in the future. So when you turn 18, you apply for a credit card, let's say they give you a $1,000 limit. They are saying, okay, you can spend up to $1,000, and we are trusting that whatever you spend, you're going to pay us back, along with interest, of course. And it's very important to remember, and always remember, that credit is not free money. Credit is borrowed money that you are vowing to pay back to them with interest. So don't ever think that that's just $1,000, I'm gonna go blow it all. No, it's not free. It is borrowed and you will pay it back on top of interest. So it's important to know how that works. Now, another important thing to know is that everything that you do once you start to have credit is monitored by what's called a credit report. And basically what that is in simple, short term, is a report card for your credit habits. So what's your payback grade? Are you a responsible credit user where you're paying things back on time, we're not having late fees, we're not having any issues? Or are you not paying things on time? Are you not paying your minimum balances? Are you not following the rules? And credit scores have benefits and consequences. You need a good credit score to get reasonable loans in the future and to get lower interest rates on your loans. So I'll explain what that means in another slide. But basically, it's important to know that the credit report is your credit report card, and every year you can get a free one at annualcreditreport.com. So, a lot of times I don't know if you would know, but you can go on like Credit Karma or things like that, and some of those websites will charge you to get your credit report. But you can always get your credit report for free one time a year using annualcreditreport.com. So, important to know why you need a good credit score. Let's go to the next slide. So credit scores are determined by all of these things on this pie chart. There's your payment history, so you're paying back on time or you're not. The type of credit you're using. New credit, so how many new cards do you have? Do you have 7 or 8 new credit cards? The length of your credit history, which of course is going to grow over time, so I wouldn't worry about that one too much. You know that you can start as early as 18, but hey, as long as you keep living, you're going to have credit history. And the amount that you owe is another 30% of how your score is determined. So that's just important just to know and for future reference. Ways that you lose points on your credit score. If you max out your card. So if your credit limit is $1,000 and you've spent $1,000, that's a maxed out card. You will lose some points for that because they want you to use it, but maxing out is a little bit too much. If your 30 days late on payments, so a month late on your payments, you lose points. You can also lose points for debt settlements. So if you spend way too much and you can't pay it back and they have to settle, you're going to lose points on your score, and it's going to be reflected. And of course, foreclosures affect your score, as well as filing for bankruptcy also affects your credit score. And it makes it harder for you to get a loan, but also an affordable loan. So let's take a perfect example of this. So on the left side, those FICO scores, those are credit scores. So it's showing you, based on the credit scores, what the interest rate is, or what the interest rate the lender is going to give the person, and then what their monthly payment is. So for example, a person with a really good credit score, 740, let's just say, or higher, the lender is going to say, all right, we'll give you this loan amount of $250,000 for 30 years, so that's like a mortgage, with a 5% interest rate, and every month you're going to pay $1,342. So because they have a good score, you can see their monthly payment is $1,342. Now let's say your score is a little bit lower, 640. If you have a 640 credit score, the lender, you're more of a risk to the lender, so they're going to give you a higher interest rate, 8%, and then your payment is going to be $1,834. So you can clearly see the difference between a person with a better credit score getting that $1,300 payment and someone with a lower credit score getting an $1,800 payment. If you add that up over time, at the bottom right, you can see the difference in the amount that the person with the lower credit score paid than the person with the higher. So credit scores are really important for the future because it determines what monthly payments you're going to have, the interest rate that you're going to get. And the better your score is, the better deal you're going to get because you are less of a risk to the lender. So how can you keep good credit? You can establish credit through small buys and quick paybacks, responsibility. So pretty much what that means is when you get your first credit card, do not go crazy. Maybe you have a $1,000 limit, maybe you have a $500 limit. You know, use your credit card for small things. I'm gonna go to Starbucks or spend 20 bucks. You know, spend 20 bucks at Starbucks. If you have 20 bucks available in your regular checking accounts, pay it off right away. Establish those little buybacks so that they can build up, or those paybacks so that they can build up and get your score up. Also important to keep your credit spending low. Do not get too close to that max on your credit card. And make payments above the minimum requirement. When you get a credit card, they'll always tell you, okay, this is when your monthly payment is due and this is the minimum balance you have to pay. If it's $50, pay $55. If it's $100, pay $105. Always pay a few more than the minimum balance because that shows that you're a responsible, individual. And use but don't abuse because credit is debt at the end of the day. It's not free money. You will be held accountable for it one way or another. So it's best to just be responsible up front. Now, a little bit about BrightStar because it's important for you guys to know who we are, especially because we have a big presence in your schools and in your financial futures. So we are a credit union. We do everything that a bank does, but we are a little bit different. We differ in our objective. Our main objective is to serve the customer, is to figure out what it is that you need and best give you the tools and free services to get there. Whereas a bank, their main objective is to pull from you what they can. Our operations, so we operate a lot differently than banks. We don't spend as much money on advertising and commercials and things like that, but we take our profits and we give them back to you guys in the form of getting a better interest rate on a card or more savings, things like that. And our ownership. Credit unions are owned by members. By anybody that has an account with us, you are a member owner, whereas banks are owned by shareholders. So the good thing about a credit union is it's a community bank in a way, and you get to take advantage of a lot of things that your regular financial institutions would not give you, such as maybe getting a better rate on a loan, a better savings fee, or a better savings interest, and reducing fees when it comes to getting credit cards and loans. And as far as our See You at School program, we offer a lot of things for you guys. So of course, being a credit union, we offer checking and savings accounts. For youth, there's no money needed to open an account. There's no minimum balances, so you don't have to have a certain amount of money in your account, and there's no monthly fees. So every month you're not going to get charged if you don't have a certain amount in there. It's just to teach you how to get the basics of savings and checkings under your belt and bank. We offer financial resources through BrightStar University. So what that is it's a web page on our main website, bsu.org/BrightStarU, and it's got a whole bunch of links, things you can take advantage of on how to best save money, what's the best ways to budget, how do I plan for my future? There's a whole bunch of links on there you can take advantage of. They're completely free, and it's good resources to have so that you can have those things in order as far as your finances and your financial future. We have what's called Balanced Financial, which is free anonymous financial advice. So once you have become a member and you have an account with us, you can take advantage of this free phone line. You can talk to them anonymously about your finances, maybe about things you're trying to accomplish, and they will be more than happy to help you achieve your goals. See You at School program, which is banking at school. So pretty much what we do once we get out of this virtual world is we're at the schools, and instead of you guys having to go to the bank to take care of your deposits, withdrawals, you want to cash a check, whatever, you can do that right at school. Usually during your lunch hour, we have a table set up, we have the banking all there, and you can do your banking right at school. And of course, we have loans for all reasons. So when the time comes that you might need a new car or student loans, it's always good to reach out to your local credit union because you can probably get a way better deal. And to see everything that we offer, you can always visit bscu.org because that's got our whole spiel of everything. So, how can you apply for membership? There are a few ways, but this is the easiest way and the quickest way going through me. So, you can visit bsu.org/seeyouatschool because that's the See You at School page, and there we have the membership application. You can easily print it off, or it's PDF, so you can print it off or type it in, and you can either drop it off at any of our branches, which I'm going to tell you the locations in a second. You can mail it to the branch, there's a mailing address on there, or you can email it to me, which is the easiest way. Just email me the PDF back, along with two things that you always have to have with the application. You need to have a color copy of your student ID or your driver's license. If you are over 18 or 18 or over, you just need your driver's license or your student ID. If you're under 18, you need the student ID and the driver's license, but you also need your parent or guardian's driver's license. So that way, if you're under 18, you are the primary owner on the account, but you have to have your parent or guardian on the account with you as well. So if you fill out the application, you'll fill out the first section. Number 1 would be your information. The second part, which says ownership, would be your parent or guardian if you're under 18, their information. Then you would flip the page, you would sign twice, your parent or guardian would sign once, and you would attach those copies of your student ID and your parent's ID and email it to me at ericavirgo@bscu.org. That's ericavirgo@bscu.org. Also, I will send your instructor the application and all of that with the instructions as well. So you can always reach out to your instructor for the for the application, or you can always reach out to me for the application. But if you can't find it on the See You at School, which it's really easy to find, but if you're having any issues at all, feel free to shoot me an email or your teacher an email because they will have the application as well. So if you choose that route, you can email that to me with the IDs to my email, and we'll take care of you. So we have 7 branch locations in Broward County. They're all here. Plus we have what's called shared branching, which is super important to mention because even though these are only our BrightStar locations, through shared branching, we have over 300 locations in Florida and 5,000 nationwide, which pretty much will tell you which branch is closest to you that you can still bank with BrightStar through, because our credit unions, we kind of share a lot of our locations. So if you're on the app, for example, or you have an account with us and you're somewhere else, you can just type in your zip code on the app and it will show you the other credit unions that are around you that you can bank with us. So you can go in and say, hey, I'm a BrightStar member, and they'll be more than happy to take care of you. So it's always important to note that, yes, these are our physical locations, but we have many more locations available to you. So banking is not just only in Broward. Feel free to follow us on social media. Almost all of our accounts are at BrightStar CU. And I just want to thank you guys for listening to me today, for spending a little time. Again, my name is Erica Virgo, and I hope to see you guys soon once all of this is over. Please be safe, take care of yourselves, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.